Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the AVGL Weekly Aftermath. This is a show where we go ahead and we recap all the games that have been going on in our league up until this point. My name is Jay Mac Tucker. I'll be the host for this evening, and the only one joining me today, we love him. Everybody's going to enjoy him. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing pretty good, J-Mac. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic. We've got a bit of a short show for you guys. It's only going to be Dan and myself recapping Smite and also giving you guys information for the upcoming CSGO brackets. So first thing to do is go ahead and tell us about the CSGO bracket coming up.
So the CS:GO bracket, it's down from 2 teams from each of the 8 groups. So now you only got 16 teams playing. We're going to be seeing a couple of matches on Saturday afternoon. It's going to be the round of 16, round of 8. We're going to have all 16 teams play. Best of threes, I believe, should be. And hopefully it's going to be a really fun day to watch Counter-Strike. You have the top 2 seeds from each group going at each other, all kind of like mixed up. It's kind of like a weird setting though, because all these groups were kind of different. You had some groups where it was very competitive, teams vying for the top spots. Then you had other groups where they just got destroyed. There was one really good team and an okay second place team in there, but then because of the seeding, now they may be placed in a higher seed playing a worse team, or vice versa. Now you have a really competitive group, and then that second seed team is playing a very low seed in the actual round of 16 bracket, and now they're going to be playing against a really monster team or something like that. So it's going to be a really big toss up on who might come out on top coming out of Saturday. But as far as we can see, the top seeds from each group, from each of the 8 groups, look like they're going to be the strongest ones going in. They don't have much competition. They'll be playing the second seed of each other group. All 8 teams that were placed in the top 8 seeds seemed like they were really strong in their regular season. They didn't lose many maps, let alone matches. We got a lot of undefeated teams going into the playoffs as well. So after those round of 16 matches, we're going to a round of 8. So each team's going to be playing 2 games if they win. So, some teams might go out after the first match. So unfortunately, that's just the way tournaments happen. So round of 8 is going to happen later on in the evening there for most of the teams, depending on the division. We have these East Coast teams. Maybe they play when it's evening, but West Coast teams sometimes they reschedule. They play maybe later on at like 10 p.m. here, which is like 1 in the morning on the East Coast. So you never really know how long these games might take to finish. Then on Sunday we do have the semifinals. Top 4 teams going to be vying for the grand final spot. And then the grand finals to take the majority of the prize pool going on Sunday evening. And we're hoping to cast that and just have a really great match.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't tuned in for the CSGO stream, it's a really enjoyable place to be. I mean, I knew nothing about CSGO when I first joined AVGL, and I still know nothing about CSGO, but it's an amazing game to watch. You get to have some fun, listen to some fun commentary, and see some real competitive action. Over on the side of Smite, we just had our AVGO Collegiate Finals this past weekend at High Res Studios. I got to cast alongside Anatoly, one of the High Res Pro casters. It was a phenomenal experience being there and getting to meet all of the players that were there. Tarrant County College, the predicted first seed going through, did end up with the 2-1 victory over Stony Brook. So many people, so many pros, pro casters, and really a lot of people were kind of sleeping on Stony Brook. They didn't think they'd even be able to take even a single game off of Tarrant County, but come through in game 1, Stony Brook had a commanding 18-0 shutout. Did not drop a single kill in the entire first game. However, come back second game through, Tarrant County able to pull together a 22 or 24-3 victory. So it was a little bit cleaner on the side of Tarrant County. They didn't quite have the shutout that they did in game 1. But then game 3 is where it really came down. This was the do or die, competing for that bigger chunk of the prize pool, the $6,000 for first and $4,000 for second. Doesn't sound like it's a whole lot, but hey, an extra $400 is nice for these players. And it was an all-out slugfest. These 2 teams were going back and forth the entire time. And we got to see some players shine who we haven't really been super uppity about. One of them was Puckham, the former solo laner, now jungler for Tarrant County College. he really surprised us. In the first game, he kind of had an off performance on Robin, but his wheelish gameplay in games 2 and 3 were out of this world. He almost not really single-handedly carried his team in game 3, but in game 2 he was kind of there, and in game 3 he just showed up. He said, I am here, I am the jungler, I will help carry my team. And him alongside Day to Remember just dominated the performance after a commanding Fire Giant lead or Fire Giant steal, I'm sorry, that his team had. That was the turning point for the third game. If you missed any of the action, sure, I may have spoiled it for you guys, but go watch it on the Smite VOD or Smite Pro YouTube channels. They will have them up on there. It was a phenomenal set. Even if you know what happens, it's great to watch it, and it was a blast getting to be there with all of our players. But that's going to do it for our recaps for this week. Now we're going to have instead of top plays this week, we're going to have some special interviews for you guys, some never before seen interviews. Our first one is going to be a Dota 2 interview with Cornell University's team, not just one player, the entire team. They were the #1 seed for the AVGL championships, but they actually got knocked out in the quarterfinals. And we've got this very special interview for you guys. Let's go ahead and watch it.
Hello there everyone, my name is Praise the Sun or Andrew Sharan. I'm part of the Cornell Dota 2 team. I am the coordinator or manager of these bunch of goons right here. I'm also a current senior at the hospitality program here at the school. We're just here to help AVGL, give a little bit of shout out to the rest of the esports environment at college campuses. So we'll do a little bit of player introductions and also a little bit of a game at the very end. So without further ado, here's the rest of the team.
Yo, what's up? I'm Gage, or Sasquatch. I'm a junior in the Industry Labor Relations program at Cornell, and I typically play the 4 or 5 role, and I'm also the team captain.
Hi, I'm Ray. I'm a junior at Cornell studying business. In-game I play mid, and in-game I go by the name Cakes.
Hi, my name is Eric. My in-game name is Solar. I play offlane for Cornell. I'm a sophomore at this school, and I'm studying information science.
Hi, I'm Tian, and my in-game name is Rabbitish, and I'm a graduate student studying electrical computing engineering, and I play support.
Hey, I'm Nicholas, or Embers, and I'm a junior studying computer science, and I play carry.
Oh, wow, one descent.
Wait, I didn't want to film that. I can see this. I can see that.
Everybody has a different. Oh no! The only consensus. Too predictive. Alright, show. Oh. I don't even play anymore! Oh man, alright.
Yeah, you want to stop out.
Show. Oh man! Alright, why did you two pick him?
What's the answer, bud?
I don't know. He walks around, takes my car, and that's when I ask him.
Shout out to Eleanor Tech Support for fixing my computer.
Shout out to my dog. Don't be annoying while I'm playing the game.
Shout out to the viewers of AVGL. I don't know what the max is on the channel, but it's always a lot of fun to have people on Twitch chat watching and supporting me. So
Shout out to my roommate who has to watch me play Dota all day.
Shout out to the boys, you know who you are, and then also shout out to AVGL for the tournament. Thank you.
Finally, shout out to all the players and other teams out there. Shout out to UBC and also UC Davis, who we'll see on Thursday on the first CSL.
And that was a very enjoyable interview, actually, getting to get an entire team together to do kind of that just pseudo like best friend kind of thing. Like, I seeing interviews like that are always hilarious because it's you ask the questions that you didn't think you'd be asked, and sometimes you get the answers you didn't expect onto that one. But that's it for the Cornell interview. Now we have another Dota 2 interview. This one's going to be with player Neuro Blank. He was on the from University of Montreal, Quebec, and he played for UDEM Falcons. They unfortunately were not able to make it to the finals this year, but they did have a good run nonetheless throughout the season. So let's go ahead and play the Dota 2 interview for Neuroblank.
My name is John. I'm doing my master's degrees in pharmaceutical science at the University of Montreal, and I will be graduating this coming June. I got invited by 4 players, and as a team of 5, we created Les Faucons de Montréal. I've been playing for the past 4 years, and this is my first time being part of a whole team. I first met my teammates for the league online through Facebook, and then we added each other afterward. The most exciting part of our team is that we have good chemistry, and I feel that communication plays a key role in our winning strategy. My recommendation for aspiring esports college players is to find people with the same interests and practice, practice, and practice.
And that was our Dota 2 interview with Neuroblank. Like we said, he was unfortunately not able to make the finals with his team, but they still had a strong season nonetheless. And lastly, we have one final interview, and this one is a very special one. It's from a Paladins player by the name of Fire. He was on the AVGL championship team, Rowan University. So let's go ahead and roll that Paladins interview.
My name's Asa. My in-game name for Paladins is Fire. I play for Rowan University, which is also the school I attend. I'm a computer science major, graduating in a month. So I play on Spooky Esports, or Spooky. We almost made it to land ourselves. We're a top 5 North American team. I play damage classes, so generally like Lex, Cassie, Canessa, Androxus. I also play flanks. I joined the college league because I heard about it on the Paladins client. I thought it was a cool opportunity, and maybe I could get a free trip and win some money. So when I heard about the league, I read through the rules and stated that you can find people in your region to play with you. So I did some digging for players in other teams that I know of and some other players, see if they were in college, if they were from the same region as me, and that's how I found everybody. So in division play, before the top 8, I was playing a lot of tanks, and I attribute this to the meta at the time. It was generally people running 2 tanks, 2 damage, and 1 support. Since then, there's been some patches and some changes to the balance. Now I'm playing the 3rd DPS, usually. I could also maybe pop out another tank. And I'm playing tank because our 2 DPS players, Shady and Z1, they have a lot of chemistry. They played on teams for years prior, and they've done really well together before playing a DPS duo. So I think our chemistry clicked pretty quickly. We all like each other. We talk to each other outside of games, but our communication took a little longer, mostly because the callouts we have, we're on different teams, so the callouts and the maps are a little different. This game isn't like Counter-Strike, where the callouts are pretty definitive and everybody uses the same thing. I would like to see college esports have some scholarships. I know certain schools, especially in California, are already doing this. Any scholarships for people with things they're passionate about, I think is cool. My recommendations for aspiring college esports players is to do your homework first. Go to the tutoring centers if you need tutoring, and keep on top of your stuff before you go play the games.
And that was our final interview for the evening with Paladins player Fire. Remember, they were the AVGL champions from Rowan University. And now we're going to be going into our School Club and LAN event of the week. It's going to be Southwest Baptist University. They were one of the first schools to form a varsity collegiate esports team and is now one of the first schools to offer a collegiate esports expo. The expo is going to be free and open to the public. There will be several keynote speakers, including Devin Nash, CEO of CounterLogic Gaming, and Kevin Huang, Twitch student ambassador. Breakout sessions, meet and greets, and all-day entertainment will be provided at the expo. High school students will also have a chance to showcase their abilities to the college recruiters during a single elimination League of Legends tournament that will be held this Saturday, April 29th, starting at 8 a.m. This is a big deal. First varsity collegiate esports team, and now they're going to be hosting the first expo that's free. If you play League of Legends and you're in the area, go to this event. We have one more event for it, and Dan, why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
Yeah, I have another event here. Cal State Long Beach is hosting Women in Games Mixed Activities. It's going to be located at the Microsoft store at the Los Cerritos Mall down there in Southern California. And it's really a great opportunity to meet up with a lot of women in gaming. You know, you play games, you love esports, you watch all the streams, follow all your favorite players on Twitter, and you know, you really hope for it to grow. You see these amazing tournaments, but you really don't see what goes on behind it. And you know, you think esports is really a male-dominated kind of like a scene kind of field. You see all these male pro players, you see male casters, you know, producers, stuff like that, but you don't really see, you know, many women in esports. But you know, they are out there. There are a lot of managers that also, you know, take care of the teams, take care of the players, make sure they get their stuff done. But also a lot of people who do a lot of software engineering, make sure those games function properly. And this is a great opportunity to meet and greet, and also get in a lot of good advice if you're looking into maybe making esports a career. You meet anyone from like a manager of a team, or you know, an engineer that say, hey, I went through school, I did this, is how I got hired by this really big name company, is how we do all these tournaments. And it's also a great way to meet and socialize with people with the same interests. You know, esports unifies a lot of people, and we can all agree that, you know, it's probably one of our favorite things to do when we have the spare time. And it's going to be hosted at the Los Rios Mall from 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific on Friday, May 5th. So Cinco de Mayo, write that date down. And it's also a charity event for Anxiety Gaming. If you don't know about Anxiety Gaming, they're an organization, nonprofit, that helps provide assistance to those who need mental health assistance, and they reach out to gamers. You know, they have LAN events and stuff like that, and a lot of charity events going on across Southern California, and they really like to help reach out to those who want to game, but you know, they have some issues, and this is a great way for you to, you know, partake in that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be an amazing event, like you said, in a mostly male-dominant industry. I mean, all you see, like you said, the male casters, the male pro players. I know, at least in the high-res sense, you know, that's the scene that I stick the most in. We do have our first female caster on the scene with High-Res Taco, and there are a lot of women behind the scenes who do so much work that you may or may not even hear of. High-Res is a little bit more open about who their staff is, what they do, and everything else behind that one. So if you're in the area for that one, once again, go to this event. It's going to be great. And like you said, it was a charity event, so go ahead and reach out to that one. Next, we're going to go into some general news. We're going to go ahead and start off with Smite with the Masters LAN. It's going to be starting this weekend. It's the top 10 teams throughout the entirety of the season. Going to be bringing not 7 teams. It'll be 6 teams. I'm completely out of it. 6 teams from North America and Europe. We're going to have 1 Latin American team. Make that 7 because I forgot about NRG Esports, who were the wild card team, as well as the Oceania and Brazilian champions, all going to be coming out to this LAN. It's going to start off day 1 with Isurus versus Valorous Gaming. With Isurus versus Valorous, this is going to determine the number 7 seed for the entirety of the bracket. And following that, it's going to be best of 3 matchups. It's going to be the winner of the Gauntlet wildcard, which was NRG Esports, taking on the LG Dire Wolves. And the winner between Isurus and Valorous are going to be taking on the Black Dragons. Proceeding from to that one, it will go on Friday. It will be the next one. It's going to be all the quarterfinal matchups. These are all be best of 3s. There's a whole bracket provided on Hi-Rez's Twitter if you want to go and watch that either on Smite Pro or Smite Game. I'm pretty sure both of those have a bracket for you there. And then on Saturday will be the semifinals, be the winner of Gauntlet of quarterfinal 1 and quarterfinal 2, and then quarterfinal 3 and 4 will have their matchup. And lastly, on Sunday, it will be the grand finals, best of 5. The winner of the 2 semifinals will move on to play for the $120,000 prize pool that's up for up to these players. Not only that, during the entirety of the event, there will be skin drops in the Twitch chat. So if you have your account linked, you can go ahead and get yourself a chance to win some amazing skins that will be available. And remember, that's whenever a team wins, it will randomly drop skins in the chat. If your account's linked, you got a chance of winning those ones. Not only that, with the Smite Console League just now finishing up this past weekend with AVGL finals, Astral Authority, couldn't think of the name for a sec. Astral Authority commanding only dropped 1 game the entire weekend, if I remember correctly, and that was against Elevate in the grand finals, able to win out 3-2-1. That's it for Smite's general news. What do you got for us in CS:GO?
All right, CS:GO. Everybody knows you get news from Reddit, and that's the best way to find the little stuff that you don't see really through streams. So Hiko and Team Liquids. Now Hiko, a little bit of background, was probably one of the best players in North America. He was on Cloud9. You knew him for taking Cloud9 to the quarterfinals of ESL Cologne, I believe 2014, if I'm not mistaken, or 2015. But they were able to make it, and that's like the first time that an NA team really wanted to, compete against top-tier EU teams. So he's had a really good history of being a really great clutch player. And recently he left Team Liquid to go to Team Optic. So 2 really big name organizations who just dipped their kind of like hand into the Counter-Strike scene. And now he's just releasing all this information about stuff that went on behind the scenes. So a little bit controversial to a lot of people. Like, generally when you're on a team or even for a big organization, you kind of want to keep things in private. You don't want to like expose anything to anybody, because it's some people consider it unprofessional, to leak secrets out or just anything that you should take care of within a team. So he's talking about how, I didn't get along with this guy, or this person complained so much about this, and then this happened, stuff like that, and different views. Some people are backing up saying, it's rough. Sometimes you're gonna have those teams, or on the other hand, people say, you shouldn't do that. Address it with the individual players. Maybe that's, maybe you're the problem, stuff like that. So a lot of drama going on right now, and he's addressed some players on his former teams. Still waiting for a response from most of them, but one of them responded saying, I realized my mistakes, but I'm looking forward to just winning with my team now. On top of that, we had a huge tournament here, CS Beyond the Summit. So this is the first Beyond the Summit tournament for Counter-Strike. And it's a little bit of a different type of tournament that we're used to. You had no crowd. You had really not a professional scene. Casters are wearing shorts and sandals inside a house. You're not even in a stadium. The teams are playing in little bedrooms with like table setup, like a real LAN set. Like back in the day when you invite all your friends over and lug some massive computers onto like a wheelbarrow, and then send it over to the house next door. You saw casters having fun. You got to see a lot of professional players actually join them on the casting desk. It was more like a casting couch. I don't want to give you the wrong idea, but it was a couch with casters on it, and you had people like Fallen from SK, the in-game leader and captain. You had people like Steel, former iBuyPower member, giving really good insight as to how these teams play, and they also had differing opinions. So sometimes you want to say in like games like League of Legends, there's like a meta. There's like ways you have to play certain games. Like in Counter-Strike, there's a little bit of a meta, just a little bit, but that refers to like the guns that you buy, the little decision like that. But when it comes to real-time strategies that you see like right before your eyes, it's really good to see insight, and that's something that Beyond the Summit really hit the nail on the head right there. You had a lot of you saw your play-by-play and your color commentary from professional casters, but then you bring in more insight from the actual players themselves. So it was a great time for everybody. They even had like a slip and slide pool and like everything. It was great renting a house out in California.
I bet the slip and slide in the pool was actually the best part of the entire event. Like, let's be real, slip and slide with a bunch of friends, like that's how you go.
Yeah, after playing games for money, I would take a little bit of a vacation.
Yeah, get to play some games, have some fun, meet some pros, and then you get to go run on the slip and slide. Sounds like a great weekend. Well, before we finish off for the evening, we do have our predictions available for you. Before we get into that one, we're going to tell you about the upcoming championship weekend here for CSGO. Like we said earlier, it's the top 16 collegiate CSGO teams facing off on April 29th and 30th in the final championships here for our April Anarchy. The players are competing for $10,000, and fans, you can get in on the action. Everyone can create their own prediction bracket and choose who they think will win each match. It's free to build your bracket. It's free. Like, go do it. Go to avglcollege.org to find out how to make your own bracket. The person with the most correct picks will win an MWAK-47 Bloodsport. I'm not sure what that is or how cool that is. But if you want an MWAK AK-47 Bloodsport, you have a shot at winning it. You can tune into all of the matches and watch your picks compete. You must be watching the live stream on twitch.tv/AVGL to win. So you got to be here on this channel on the day of the event. That's the 29th and 30th. You got to be there for it. You can catch all that action live starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here once again at twitch.tv/AVGL. And before we continue forward, we did forget to mention that we do have our Smite Championship Bracket winner. This year's Smite April Anarchy prediction bracket winner is Fate FTM. That's FATE FTM. You are the proud winner of 3,500 gems. You were one of, I believe, 5 people who guessed the correct prediction all the way through. But we can't give it to all 5. We can only give it to 1 out of random choice. You are a winner. So Fate FTM, congratulations for it. So Dan, do you got any predictions for us going into this weekend?
Yeah, I got a little bit of my bracket myself, just
All
so I
right.
want to play too. And yeah, that AK-47 you're talking about is the skin, minimal wear condition. And I just checked on Steam. It's actually selling for over $75 on the Steam market, so a little bit of a pricey skin there, and it's free to enter. So enter your brackets now. So round 1, I have GG's beating UCSC Slugs. GG's a strong team that we've seen throughout the entire tournament. Shouldn't be a problem. I actually have them going all the way to the finals. They're just a strong team. There's no way that I don't think there's a way many teams will upset them. Maybe they'll lose a map or 2 in like a couple of the best of 3s, but I don't see them losing any of the series coming up. Then we have UC San Diego versus University of Central Missouri. I think UC San Diego is going to take this. They are the top seed in the 8th group, playing against the 2nd seed of the 1st group. And Central Missouri was not very, like I said earlier, not very strong team. They kind of slipped by into that 2nd seed in a somewhat competitive group, but not really the best skilled group. So I see UC San Diego taking that and then losing to GG's in round 2. Carleton versus KSU. Again, Carleton University was kind of in a really competitive group as well, but I don't have too much information on these teams because I believe they were the top seed in Group D, and I think that was the group that had the 3-way tie for first place. And so it says a little bit, but you never know because if there was a tie, you can't really determine who was the best team there in that regard. But I do have Central Florida beating CTEC, who is also from Group D, I believe. So I have them beating KSU as well in round 2 to lose to GG's in the semis. Moving on to the lower half of the bracket, McMaster University versus Georgia Tech. My prediction: McMaster University is looking very strong. They're going to take it to the round of 8. So they're going to beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech had a good showing. They upset Kentucky really badly, I believe 2-0. I think we casted that game. So Georgia Tech really coming through to make it to the playoffs, but unfortunately I don't think they're a strong enough team because they barely made it out of their group as it is, and I don't think they have what it takes to go that far, but good on them for making the playoffs. Next match here is UCI Gold versus Montreal. Now Montreal did place first in CSL, and they got upset in the very first round by Cal State Long Beach, so gonna be really tough to see how Montreal's in shape. They haven't been playing many games now. Ever since they got knocked out of CSL, they don't have really any leagues to play in anymore to get that competitive experience. So hopefully they've been practicing, but I believe UCI Gold is going to be able to take it. They're one of the few teams in AVGL that I've seen actually execute strats. They play their players very well. Strawberry, their in-game leader, I've played against him before. He really knows how to utilize his players really well and efficiently. So I think I have full faith in UCI in beating Montreal. UCI was the first seed out of the seventh group, and I have them beating McMaster University as well and heading all the way to the finals. So my finals prediction is GG's versus UCI Gold, and yeah, that's gonna be a fun game. Hopefully, if it happens. But moving on to the next match, before we go, Donald Deplorables changed the name to East Coast Goons. That's probably much easier to say. East Coast Goons beating Colorado University of Boulder. Now, Boulder showed a pretty good, group stage, but I don't think they have what it takes. They're not really an amazingly strong team. I just think that they're one of those, second seed teams that didn't do as well as they wouldn't do as well if they were going to be put in another group. Is what I'm trying to get at. But they'll be losing to East Coast Goons. So then East Coast Goons going to take it on to all the way to the semifinals. Then have GMU CSGO versus Illini Esports, Team Ignis, whatever you want to call them. I have Team Ignis winning the first round of 16, moving on to round of 8, getting beaten by East Coast Goons. And then UCI Gold beating East Coast Goons all the way to the finals. And I have UCI Gold taking it all. I have full faith in those boys, and a little bit of a bias because I know a couple players on that team. But it's going to be a really competitive weekend, I'll tell you that.
So you heard it here first, folks. UCI Gold is going to be Mr. Dan Lee's prediction for the winner of the brackets. And like we said, you can submit your very own brackets. Go over to the avglcollege.org website where you can start up your own prediction. And remember, you got the chance of winning that MW AK-47 Blood Sport skin. I'd want that skin if I played CSGO, but I don't. I'm still going to make a prediction bracket, and so should you. And that's really going to be about it for us tonight. Do you have any final thoughts for us, Dan?
Final thoughts, not really. I think, now it's a really great time for esports. All these games just finished, and AVGL is now finishing up CSGO, so make sure you watch it. It's really going to be really competitive. Make sure you enter that not really drawing, but the bracket prediction competition. You can submit it bracket. Doesn't cost you anything except, maybe a few minutes of time. Maybe a few minutes of time if you want to research the teams, but you can walk away with a skin worth over $70 on the Steam market right now. So nothing for you to really lose.
Yeah, so come out this weekend. Remember, you do have to be watching in order for you to have that chance of winning your AK-47 Blood Sport skin if you end up having the correct amount of predictions, the highest correct predictions, I should say, onto that one. And as far as final thoughts go, Smite's done, Paladin's done, Dota just finished up, and we'll hopefully have some information with that for you guys next week. And with CSGO, this will be the end of our 2017 April Anarchy. It's been an amazing season. I've had a blast working with all of these people here on the talk show or just in general. So thank you all for coming out tonight. Make sure to follow us here on our Twitch channel so you don't miss out on the action this weekend here at twitch.tv/AVGL. You can also follow our Twitter page at AVGL Official. Or if you don't want just that, you want also the more specific news depending on your game, you can follow it at AVGL_ and then enter the game name, whether it's CSGO, Dota 2, Paladins, or Smite. You can follow any of those ones. And also on our Facebook page, facebook.com/AVGL Official. And if you've already done all of this, but you haven't, you can also find our YouTube page and catch all of our replays, any talk shows, any games that you've missed up until this point. You can catch them on our YouTube channel. Just look for the American Video Game League on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight, and we will see you guys on Saturday with CSGO.